Okay, so for this tutorial what we're going to do is pretty much beginner's Maya customization, and all we're going to do is make our own little shelf like I have right here. And so first let me go ahead and make a new shelf. So to do that, make sure you have your shelf shown. So you go in your hotbox, hold down the space bar, box. I work from show all, but you don't have to. And if you go into this quadrant right here, which is to the top and right, you get all these little UI elements which you can show and hide just by clicking on them here. And you want to make sure that you have your shelf on. So now I just hit it and do it again, and it'll show up. So we have our shelf visible, and if you click on this little arrow underneath the shelf, what we're going to do is come down here to new shelf, and for this we're just going to call it like poly tools, or we'll just call it poly. So it would be a shelf that I would normally use when I'm modeling polygons primarily. So for this instance we'll just do that and do new. So now if you click here on your shelf icon above the black arrow, you see you have your different shelves to choose from. So I have my original shelf here, my default one, and now I have a poly one as well, the new one that I made, which is empty. And you also want to make sure that your menu up here, that your drop down menus here, are all visible, because that's how we're going to use these to add our icons to the shelf. So make sure your menu and everything is visible. And now we're going to just go under modeling. And the first thing I like to add is my just save scene as, so that I can easily save a scene in different increments as I make progress. And to add that to the shelf, all you do is you hold down on the Control, Shift, and Alt key. So Control, Shift, Alt, and then you actually just File, Save Scene As, and now you have the icon here. So you didn't actually save your scene as anything when you went and clicked at that time. You just added it to the shelf, and that was it. So that's how you add things to the shelf. And I'm just going to go ahead and make some more, because I'm going to use this for my another tutorial that I'm working on, which is the car one. So if you're going to follow along, you can keep following this. If not, then you can just stop it now. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you. So some other tools that I like when I'm modeling with polygons is the let's go ahead and delete history. That's always good to have. So edit, delete by type, history. This is while holding down Control, Shift, and Alt all at the same time again. So now we have our delete history, and still holding down Control, Alt, Shift, we're going to go to duplicate. Actually, I'm loading up off the keys now. For duplicate, I like to do something a little different. Here you see I have the scale at -1, and I'm just going to set that at 1 and close that. So now when we go back into our duplicate options, we see it's back at 1. Oops, so apply. Whatever. Is it not working? We shall see. Okay, now there it is. Or we can just do reset settings. That works. And now I'm going to add that to the shelf. So edit, duplicate, and not the option box, but just that. And so now I can duplicate things easy. So like if I create a cube here, scale it up, I can just hit the duplicate and move it. Now I have 2 cubes. Duplicate, move it. So I can use it that way. But the other thing I can do is when we come in here and get into face, and we can delete the face here, and maybe we'll remove one vertex up. So now when I get out of this, and hold on a second, let me snap this here. I just snapped it to the center, or to the edge of the box, I guess. Now we're going to grid snap this like so. But now when I hit duplicate, you can see it did an exact copy of that. But now I'm going to go back in and change my duplicate options to scale at -1 so that we get the mirror for when we model half of the geometry and we want to mirror it for the whole thing. So now we duplicate, whatever, apply, just hit all the buttons. Now when you select this, Control D, you have your mirror, but then if you come up here and hit your duplicate button, you still just have a copy of what's selected. So that way you can use the Control D for your mirror duplicates, and you can just hit the duplicate button up here when you don't want the geometry mirrored. So now we have that, and I'm also going to go ahead and start adding some of the poly tools now. So probably edit polygons, extrude edge while holding down Control, Shift, and Alt again. So we have that. Extrude face, so now we got the extrude face there. Split polygon is always a popular tool, so add that there. And for merge vertices, which is this edit polygons, merge vertices, I'm actually going to do the option box on that, because sometimes I like to select a whole bunch of, like, just select all the vertices, and the only ones I want welded or merged are the ones down the center. So like when I duplicate this and I want to attach these two together, well, first you have to combine, so let's go ahead and add the combine. So actually Control Shift Alt, polygons, polygons, combine. So now we select these two, combine them, and see our vertices are still not connected. So Control Z a couple times, undo that. So if I select all of these and I do a merge vertex, merge vertices, whatever, merge vertex, and the default value I think is 1. Let's see, or maybe it's 0. I don't know. Anyways, let's say we want 1, and you merge this. Well, nothing happened now, except for these are welded finally. So but now if you want to collapse this a little more, you could put it like 10. Well, maybe not. Anyways, but it's just good because depending on the size of your model, you can come in here and select, you know, like the 2 vertices you want to merge, and you can have it at a high value. But if you have complicated geometry, you're gonna, maybe you want to select all of the CVs and then come in here and set this at a real low value, like 0.001, so that only the vertices that are lying on top of each other are merged. So that's a little bit of why I do the option box there. And now we're going to do some booleans. So Control Shift Alt before you come down, and then you to your menus, and you open up the menu, booleans. We're going to do a union, and still holding down the Control Shift Alt, do a difference. And another good thing is come down, edit polygons, normals, soft and harden, and then you to your menus, and you open up the menu, booleans. We're going to do a union, and still holding down the Control Shift Alt, do a difference. And another good thing is come down, edit polygons, normals, soft and harden, and then you to your menus, and you open up the menu, booleans. We're going to do a union, and still holding down the Control Shift Alt, do a difference. And another good thing is come down, edit polygons, normals, soft and harden, and cleanup. So I like to do the option box for the cleanup. Next we're going to do triangulate and then quadrangulate. So we get those now. Do our hypershade. So the UV texture editor. Actually, it's window. If I can remember where it's at. There it is. And I normally have some primitives on here. So do a polycube, create polycube, and a polyplane. And now for some NURBS type stuff, we'll do. Actually, we want the. Create CV curve tool. Now we'll do extrude under surfaces. And revolve. I'm going to do attach surfaces. These are NURBS tools now, so. But for the next tutorial, I'm doing some NURBS to poly conversion, so I'll have that there. So now I'll detach surfaces. Insert isoparm. Rebuild surface. Just edit NURBS still. And I'll do the option box for that. Then we'll do modify, convert NURBS to poly. And I'll do the options for that. And then we'll do poly to sub D. So modify, convert polygons to sub D. So now we can just click any of these tools to use them. So go ahead and click our split polygon tool and just draw our lines around here. If you want to soften these normals up, click soften harden. Convert it to a sub D. And that's pretty much the gist of this. So